Christmas dinner around the world is a sumptuous amalgamation of spices, herbs cooked with a variety of meats and fishes. Most of us are used to cooking a turkey for the holidays. Some may even have a buffet of fish and vegetarian dishes. This dish is connected to the Spanish word for milk, but the dish has been around for centuries. We're exploring the history and origins of Lechon. I'm your host, Glenn Warren, and welcome to another serving of Seasons Eatings, the podcast which explores the history and origins of your favorite Christmas foods. Seasons Eatings can be found wherever you download your favorite podcasts. Seasons Eatings is also found on Facebook, Instagram, YouTube, and Blue Sky. If you love the show, then I humbly ask you to share this podcast with someone you think would love to hear more about the history of Christmas and the foods which shape the holiday we love so much. If you want to give me suggestions for future episodes, just email me at seasonseatingspodcast@gmail.com. All the links for the show notes and socials can be found at seasonseatingspodcast.com. The Philippines is known for having one of the longest Christmas seasons in the world, beginning as early as September. Central to these celebrations are family gatherings, which often revolve around food. I did a previous episode about a Filipino dish called bibingka, which is a coconut cake, but lechon is more than just a dish in the Philippines. It's a cultural symbol, especially during Christmas. The practice of serving lechon at Christmas, or Pasko, ties deeply to Filipino traditions, religious observances, and communal values. Lechon is often the centerpiece of the Noche Buena feast, a traditional midnight meal on Christmas Eve that families enjoy after attending Misa de Gallo, or midnight mass. It represents abundance, gratitude, and the joy of togetherness. The name lechon is said to come from the Spanish word lechona, which means suckling pig. In fact, lechon, lechon asado, and lechona are names for roasted pork dishes in countries like Cuba, Puerto Rico, Dominican Republic, and Colombia. Well before the Spaniards set foot in Asian countries, roasted pork had long existed in Austronesian cultures, which includes peoples in Taiwan, Southeast Asia, Oceania, and Madagascar. Pigs originated in China, where traders introduced the species all throughout Southeast Asia and Oceania, and even taught the populations about cooking pork and roasting pig. Indigenous Filipinos already practiced spit roasting methods, particularly for wild pigs, which were abundant in the islands. This technique, known as inasal or inahaw, involved cooking meat over an open flame. These feasts were part of communal gatherings, rituals, and celebrations, often tied to harvests, tribal ceremonies, or honoring ancestors. In Spain, lechon was a delicacy served during feasts and celebrations, particularly in regions like Castilla and Aragon. The Spanish brought this culinary practice to their colonies, including the Philippines. Spanish colonialization introduced Catholicism to the Philippines, and with that came feasts and celebrations tied to religious holidays, like Christmas. These events emphasized communal gatherings and elaborate meals, where lechon became the centerpiece. The idea of preparing a whole pig for significant occasions aligned with the Spanish tradition of celebrating grand events with a roasted suckling pig. Over time, Filipinos adopted this for Christmas and other major celebrations. Instead of exclusively roasting suckling pigs, they began using full-grown pigs as they were more practical and could feed larger groups. Suckling pigs are usually 2 to 6 months old, so they can only feed a certain amount of people. Understanding the vital elements and spices used in lechon offers a glimpse into the rich mosaic of Filipino culinary heritage. The magic behind the succulent and crispy lechon lies in its meticulous preparation and diverse cooking techniques. Each ingredient contributes to its distinct taste, reminiscent of a time-honored tradition and cultural nuances. To truly appreciate lechon, you need to know its core components. Firstly, we have the whole pig. This is the star of the show, chosen for its size and quality. The selection of the pig is pivotal as it affects the lechon's texture and flavor. Then we have salt. Salt is a fundamental seasoning in all cultures. It enhances the meat's natural flavors and helps achieve that desirable crispy skin. We next have peppercorn, which offers a subtle heat. Peppercorns are often used to balance the rich, fatty taste of the pork. And finally, we have lemongrass, which is essential for stuffing the pig's cavity. It imparts a unique, fragrant aroma that elevates the entire dish. Under Spanish rule, the roasted meat became a marker of social status and affluence. Only the wealthy or those celebrating major events could afford such a feast. As Filipinos embraced the dish, it transcended social boundaries and became a symbol of festivity and abundance, particularly during Christmas. Even after Spain's 333-year rule ended, lechon remained ingrained in Filipino culture. Its association with celebration and religion, introduced by the Spanish, continued to thrive. The Spanish colonizers formalized and named a practice that already existed in the Philippines, elevating it to a festive and religious tradition. Over centuries, Filipinos reinterpreted lechon through their culinary ingenuity. Today, lechon is not just a dish, it is a testament to the cultural synthesis that defines Filipino history. Although lechon isn't the only national dish in the Philippines, it may be the most celebrated, especially around Christmas time. Throughout the year, various lechon festivals are held in cities and towns throughout the archipelago. Multiple lechon restaurants and businesses also proliferate, with some so famous that their lechons are flown across the country for weddings and christenings. Each region in the Philippines has its own style and flavor of lechon, but the reigning champion is arguably the southern Philippine city of Cebu. Cebu has built a reputation for the variety and high quality of its lechon, which has lately become a standard for the entire nation. Anton Diaz, who has covered different lechon purveyors in his food and travel blog Our Awesome Planet, explains that traditional Cebu lechon's popularity is due to how flavorful the meat is on its own, without the addition of a sauce. Although Cebu may be a strong contender for lechon capital of the Philippines, the historic capital has long been the La Loma district in Metro Manila, where the lechon business was almost single-handedly jump-started by Tomas de los Reyes, more commonly known as Mang Mr. Tomas. In the 1950s, Mang Tomas sold pork meat outside his house, which was located near the then popular La Loma Cockpit Arena. Eventually, Mang Tomas began cooking lechon for the celebrated cockfight winners, Owners of fallen chickens ate the losers instead. And soon the flavor of his roast pig began to draw more than just cockfight attendees. The popularity of Mang Tomas's lechon and his sweet, savory pig liver-based gravy led to a boom in lechon business in La Loma. Mang Tomas's business still continues to ply its trade there, although his gravy is now available in bottled form, minus the liver, and sold around the world. It's that gravy, or the gross approximation, that many lechon eaters have grown up with, and the sauce has covered up the blandness and chewiness of many an inferior lechon. It's also used to make a quick version of lechon paksao, a garlicky stew made of leftover lechon that is fantastic with rice. As mentioned before, the lechon is an actual whole pig. Now, the whole pigs are spit roasted slowly over charcoal for hours, and when done right by masters called lechoneros, the meat inside is rendered tender and juicy, and the skin is crisp like candy and caramelized to a perfect orange-brown sheen. Unlike other roast pig dishes in other cuisines, the Philippines lechon is known for its skin. The most perfect lechon skin is cooked evenly and remains smooth and shiny. The best ones feature skin that remains crisp for several hours. Cooking lechon is quite a tedious process, especially in the earlier days where the spits are rotated manually. Now, most of the lechons are cooked with spits are rotated mechanically, but some of the elder lechoneros still insist on doing it manually to achieve the perfectly even color and cook of the skin. Meanwhile, the charcoal embers used to cook lechon are also adjusted manually, with lechoneros shifting the heat every few minutes to whichever area of lechon they feel is not cooking quickly enough. We'll find out the variations of lechon after the break. Don't you wish the holidays would last the entire year? Well, now it can. Head on over to mymerrychristmas.com where you can enjoy the holidays all year long. You can chat with other Christmas enthusiasts on any topic you can think of. Movies, books, cooking, decorating, anything. If it's about Christmas, it's here. Joining My Merry Christmas is completely free. But if you become a Premier member, you can enjoy extra bonuses such as a yearly Christmas card exchange and Kringle Radio, Santa's exclusive Christmas radio station. For only $19.95, you can become a Premier member of mymerrychristmas.com for a full year. So head on over to mymerrychristmas.com and start enjoying Christmas all year long.
97, 98, 99. I knew there was a sprinkle missing from that cookie. Oh, hi! I'm Sprinkle, one of the elves in the kitchen at the North Pole. I'm in charge of, well, you guessed it, making sure there's 100 sprinkles on each of Mrs. Claus's cookies. There's so much stuff going on here at the North Pole that sometimes I can't keep track. That's why I go to SantaUpdate.com. SantaUpdate.com is a website which gives you all the news about us elves, the reindeer, Mrs. Claus, and of course Santa, all through the year. There's news, a post office where you can email Santa, lots of great activities, and you can even chat with one of the elves or the big guy himself. We even broadcast Santa's journey around the world on Christmas Eve. And everything is completely free. So head on over to SantaUpdate.com and join in the fun. Just make sure you have permission from an adult you trust. I hope to see you soon on SantaUpdate.com. I gotta run. That's my next batch of cookies.
Exploring the regional variations of lechon unveils not just culinary differences, but also the rich mosaic of cultural and historical influences across the Philippines. Each region offers unique twists and regional preferences that make their lechon distinct. Easily the best known and most well-loved version, lechon de leche is a whole pig with entrails removed, which is spit roasted until perfectly tender inside and perfectly crisp on the outside. Lechon versions from Luzon are usually roasted plainly, sometimes with stuffing of lemongrass and garlic served with a sweet and sour sauce made from sugar, vinegar, and the pig's liver. Lechon available in the south, the Visayas and Mindanao regions, are usually stuffed with lemongrass, garlic, spring onions, and chilies. But the stuffing can range from anything like ginger, pepper, garlic chives, to even pineapples. They're more heavily salted, making the lechon flavorful enough to stand on its own. Some actually choose to stuff their lechon. In effort to stand out in a sea of delicious lechon, enterprising and creative lecheronos also stuff their pigs with even more food. Now there are lechons with rice stuffings, anywhere from paella to truffled rice to even Chinese sticky rice. Some lechons are stuffed with a whole chicken inside, or even Hungarian sausages. As close to lechon is to perfection, it has not stopped people from trying to add to it, and diners are the biggest beneficiaries of that. Not as easily available in the city, lechon carnero, which is lechon of lamb, or lechon cabrito, which is a young goat, are also spit roasted whole. Mostly found in rural areas, the charcoal aroma and fragrant stuffing combine to produce flavorful and tender meat that is free from any gamey aroma. The most recent iteration of lechon is a large piece of pork belly, rolled into a thick tube and then roasted. Since the whole lechon is quite expensive and feeds about 30 people, the belly roll is an alternative for smaller, more intimate gatherings. It's basically like a long piece of pork belly rolled up like a cinnamon bun and stuffed in a cooking container. This roll is usually stuffed with lemongrass as well and served with either the liver sauce or a spiced vinegar. The Spanish colonizers formalized and named a practice that had already existed in the Philippines, elevating it to a festive and religious tradition. Over centuries, Filipinos reinterpreted lechon through their culinary ingenuity, making it uniquely their own, while preserving its historical and colonial roots. Today, lechon is not just a dish. It is a testament to the cultural synthesis that defines Filipino history. In summary, lechon is a cornerstone of Filipino Christmas, embodying the values of family, faith, and festivity. Its rich history and enduring popularity illustrate the blending of indigenous traditions with colonial influences, creating a dish that is uniquely Filipino, but universally enjoyed. I'm Glenn Warren, and thank you for listening to this serving of Seasons Eatings. Seasons Eatings is available wherever you get your favorite podcasts. Please, if you can leave a review about the show so we can spread the Christmas cheer. And if you let me know you've left a review, I'll send you a Seasons Eating sticker as a personal thank you. Also, I would love to hear from you. Send me an email at seasonseatingspodcast@gmail.com to let me know how you like the show. Send me a suggestion for a future episode or just to say hi. And I know that we all get busy, so even sharing the podcast with someone you know who loves Christmas would be a big help. And if you're feeling extra generous this season, you can buy me an eggnog. Head on over to seasonseatingspodcast.com and click on the little cup in the corner. For as little as $3, you can donate to the podcast, which helps with its general upkeep, and it will be greatly appreciated. Seasons Eatings also has some great items for you or your loved ones over the holiday season. Head on over to seasonseatings.com, click on the merchandise tab to find your next great gift. Thank you for listening, and tune in again for another serving of Seasons Eatings. All music for Seasons Eatings is used under the Creative Commons license.